Welcome to the demonstration of the DDE tool and framework, continuing from the part 1. During the first part of the video, I explained the concepts behind which this tool is built and also showed you how to create a text template from its Excel counterpart. Well, let me show you some sample templates at this point. So in this part, let's see how the test data generation actually works. I have a few sample templates with me, so 6 of them. Let me introduce to the main elements of the tool's interface now. So I have 4 main menu items. I'll take you through the first menu item, which is the file. So the file menu item allows you to create a new template. When you create a new template, when I say new template, it creates a blank template. You can create either of text template or an XLS template. It creates basically a blank template in whichever folder you tell it to. And there is another menu item here which says open template, which opens basically any file you tell it to. Here again you have options of choosing between a text and an XLS file. Now the configuration is actually a little bit advanced use, so I'm not going to explain that now. And the tool is actually is one of the things that you might want to do when there is a lot of Excel processes going on in your system. So if you happen to use this tool for quite a while, there might be certain Excel process hanging around. So you can use this tool to easily kill the existing processes. And the help is basically a small explanation of what this tool is and the concept behind it. And here is the basic documentation of the tool, a very basic one. It doesn't actually replace a user manual. Okay, without much ado, let me go into using one of the existing templates to create test data. Okay, so this is the only option that you have. This is the only user input that you need to give, the number of rows to fill the template. So you can change it to any number as you like. And currently, in order to create a template.xls, in order to fill the template.xls with test data, we have to choose the textual representation of that file. So let me currently select the existing template and proceed with the test data generation. I just said OK, and it currently uses the template I have here. Okay, so let me just explain what I'm trying to do here. I'm basically trying to create the header information of the Excel template. So the way it works is, you see this line item has 3 different pipe symbols. Each pipe symbol actually separates the data. So R0C1 basically means that you are trying to start test data generation from the first row. My index actually starts from 0. So in the first row, I start my data creation, and in the column 1, I want you to print a string, plain string called name. In the next line, I say in my column 2, starting from the row 0, the first row basically, I want to start filling a plain string called message. So this part here basically takes care of creating the header. And now I'm on to creating my values here. It works pretty much similar to what I explained here. So starting with the row 1, on the column 1, I want to fill a choice of 3 values. Right? So what I basically am doing here is, as I explained in the first video, I'm calling a user defined function called choice and supplying it with parameters, 3 parameters, each represented by this string. Now in the second line, I say that fill up my column 2 with whatever I return from the say hello user defined function. So the say hello user defined function, as you can see from here. So let me open this functions.py, which I introduced you to in the last video. So this is my definition of the choice function. So my choice function basically calls the Python's random.choice on whatever arguments you pass it. Now my say hello function is again very simple. Whatever function, whatever parameter you pass it with, it just adds it to another string called hello. Right? Okay. Now let me go back to my template. So this is what I'm trying to do here, right? So I just ran it against the tool. So it created a new file called template_latest.xls. So if I open this XLS, you can see that it has filled in the two columns that I wanted. The header is name and message, and it has started filling a choice from the three items that I asked to do: Anand and Sudha and Arvind. And on the message, I basically fill all the rows with the same hello message, hello Anand, right? So now you might basically be thinking now, it's not really useful because it always says hello comma Anand, right? So I would like to say hello to the person I have filled in with in the first column. I want to say something else. Let's see how to do a hello for the person I have filled in the first column in the next template, right? So see you there. Hi, so welcome back. So here is the next template in which I have a set of headers, and in this set of the first row in the values, I'm filling a choice of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 numbers, and in the second column I am going to fill a choice of two values, hello and hello world, and the C3 in the column 3 I am going to fill in say hello. I'm just going to say hello. This is basically a function defined in the functions.py. So I'm going to say hello to whatever is filled in corresponding row in C2 in the column 2, and C4 similarly says hello to whatever is filled in the corresponding row in C3. Now C5 is a little more interesting, in which it uses an indirect reference. Now here it uses the first parameter as C2. So whatever is filled in C2, if it is hello, then it is going to choose from this list. If it is hello world, it's going to choose from this list, right? So let's see this in action. So I'm going to fill in 1000 rows in the template. So I will browse to this rule file. I'll say okay. Let's see how it generates the data. So it's done. Let's go back and see the template. You can see the first column is general, and it's a random choice of 1 to 5. The second is a random choice of hello and hello world. The next column says hello to whatever is filled here, and the fourth column is again, it says hello to whatever is filled in the column 3. And on the column 5, it basically reads whatever is filled in column 2. If it contains hello, then it chooses randomly from 1 to 5, and if it contains hello world, it chooses a random value from 6 to 10. Right? Hope that is clear. So let's go to the next template, the template 3. Well, so here is the template 3. The template 3 is a little more interesting. It's actually much more interesting for testers, for real test data generation. Here you can see that the first column is being filled with a fake name. So fake is a function which I have written. So, and when you pass it with the first parameter saying name, it creates a fake name, but it looks real, and it creates an English name. So obviously there is a support for more languages. You can probably create Spanish names, you can create German names, you can create even Hindi names. So in the second row, I'm filling the column 2 with fake addresses, again from the US journal. Then C3 is being filled with fake city and company and then company email, right? So let's just quickly see how it creates 1000 rows of test data using this rule template. You can see here it waits for a little while because the fake function actually takes a little while. You can now see that it has generated the fake names. It's generated the fake addresses here. These look quite interesting, right? It generates the fake company names. I think this is the city. Now it generates the fake company names and finally the email. Right? So it's done. Let's open this. So you have the data. Isn't it interesting? So the only problem that you will notice here is the name doesn't correspond to the email, right? That is because the fake function, every time the fake function gets called, it generates a completely different set of data. It doesn't ensure that the email is corresponding to the name. So that correspondence is something you have to manage. I mean, we can look at it in another template. So let's close this and go to the next template. Okay, so in this last part of the demo, let's see the final template, which creates fake names, first names, fake last names, fake company names, and instead of creating fake email names, I'm basically calling a concatenation function which I have created, which will concatenate anything you pass it with. So the first parameter here is C1, the first name, then puts a dot on that, then passes this last name, then puts an at the end of it, then appends the company name, and then finally .com. So you have the email address. So let's see how this works. I select the template, I say OK. So now you are creating the data. You're done. Right, so let's open the Excel. So here is the data. So this is the first name, last name, company names, and email names. Here you can see that each email is corresponding to the first name dot last name at company name. Right? Well, that finishes this demo. Thank you for watching.